Thank you, Senator. Senator Hodgson.
Thank you, Madam President. My honorable colleagues, I rise in support of this bill. I'd first like to compliment my colleague, Senator Metz, on the conscientious approach that he has taken in drafting this legislation, along with the Secretary of State. And I think the concerns that were so eloquently brought to light by Senator Jabor's remarks are indeed covered by the provisions of this legislation. First, we look at the phase-in of the stringency of these identification requirements. As Senator Metz indicated, the first election that will come before with this legislation in effect, you wouldn't need a photo ID. You would need some sort of lower form of identification phased into a full photo ID in 2014. But and the way I read the bill, it is no more difficult to obtain the type of identification that's going to be used than it is to register to vote in the first place. More importantly, and this I must dispute my colleague's comments, under no circumstances may a citizen of this state be denied the franchise pursuant to this legislation. Under no circumstances may a citizen of this state be denied the franchise under this legislation. The reference to provisional ballots is somewhat misplaced in this discussion. The provisional ballots that we're all familiar with are when somebody has not registered to vote and they show up and the canvassers tell them, you're not a registered voter. Here is a provisional ballot. You are allowed to cast your ballot for the President of the United States. Under that provisional voting scheme, your ballot will only be counted if it's a close race. Under this legislation, as drafted and as submitted before you to vote today, any provisional ballot will be counted, no matter how close, no matter how disparate the results are. I would submit to you, my colleagues, that at a time where public confidence in their elected officials is so battered, that it is never more appropriate to restore their confidence in the integrity of the system that chooses us. As Americans, we have one birthright, and that's our vote. As new citizens to this country, you receive only one bounty, and that is the privilege of a vote. For one ballot to be stolen, whether it's a state representative who shows up and finds somebody has voted in their place, or whether it's somebody who none of us has ever heard of, violates the very spirit of this democracy we participate in. My colleagues, I would urge you to support this good bill. Restore the confidence in us. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? There being none, will the clerk please unlock the machine? Shall an act relating to elections voter ID pass? Have all senators indicated their vote? Will the clerk lock the machine? 27 in the affirmative, 6 in the negative, and the act passes. At this time, we will refer back to item number 9. Senator Bates.